Well, I know that we went one full bend. I moved the pin, and I believe I was on my second pin. Hey guys, welcome to the video. In this video, I'm working on the tube frame. I'm working on the chassis, and I've come across a couple of complications. Nothing major, just a little setback, which I pretty much expected. But I want to show you what I've done, and I want to show you what I'm doing about the complications moving forward, or the changes that I'm making. So let me show you what I've done so far. So if you saw in the last video, you saw that I put the upper door bars on, so that's cool. What I've done so far today, forget that right now, is I have clamped this bar into place. It's not actually in place yet. I mean, it's in place, but I haven't tacked it in place yet. The reason I want this bar in here is I need this bar in here to install the seats. And I'm getting close to the point where I want to install the seats to see how the spacing's working out in here. So I needed to get this mounted in here so that I could do that. I also this morning cut out and bent up the rear cage bar. Not ready to install that yet, but I wanted to get it out of the way. Now what my goal was this morning was to bend these, tack them on place, and then bend the rear portion of the cage, and then install the upper portion of the cage, and then run it back to the chassis up here. That was my goal for today. However, that's not going to happen because as I was bending up the rear cage bars, I realized that it seemed too short. So when I bent up this piece, which I just did about 20 minutes ago, once I bent it, I was looking at it and I thought, boy, that rear engine portion seems really short. So I brought it out here and I clamped it up, and you can see it's 2.5 inches shorter than the bar that I have now. And to be honest with you, the bar that I have now is pretty short because there's a lot of my engine that is exposed. And I believe when I was drawing this, I was actually going to give myself 2 to 3 inches higher. So I think what happened is I'm thinking that my dimensions got messed up, and instead of making it, let's say 3 inches taller, I accidentally made it 3 inches shorter. So I can't leave it that way. I can't have half my engine hanging out. And so what I'm going to do is, this is garbage. I thought about what I've got done so far, and I can actually scrap this. I'm going to go into the Bentech software, and I'm going to raise this 5 inches, which will put it, I think, 2.5 inches higher, which will be right about here, which I think it will be good for engine protection. So here's what I got. Here's the 2 bars. I just went and redesigned it. I made the rear cage 5 inches higher, and then this is what the Bentech told me to lay out for the new bars. This is the old one. You can see it's shorter. So this one is now scrap. And this one I'm going to throw in my bender, bend it up, and then we'll see how it looks on the chassis. All right. Yeah, kind of hard to tell, but there you go. I like that. That'll move the bar up. I think my total dimension was 2.5 inches. And that'll put the bar, still a lot of motor exposed, but it'll put it up. I don't know. It'll just, to be honest with you, I really like the look of that low bar, but the higher bar will just protect the motor more. What I'm going to do now is, I think I lost about 2.5 hours there where I found that that was too short, which is fine. I'm going to mock some things up. I think I'm going to put the bender away. I think I'm done with that for today. I'll pull the TIG welder out, and I think I'm going to mock some of this up, tack it in place, and see if I can start building some of this. Alright guys, so I captured some time lapse, not really as much as I wanted to, mainly because as I was working along, you know, as I work on this chassis, the bug is stuck out on the driveway, and we had some really bad storms rolling through here, and I literally can't pull the bug in while I'm working on the chassis. There's no room. So I was kind of speeding up a little bit so that I could get the chassis finished, or what I was working on finished, and then pull the bug in, which is what I did. So I showed you the time lapse that I had, but really I was just welding on those pieces that I had shown you before. So let me show you those welded on, and this is a good example of how I'm fitting the bug and the chassis in here at the same time. So these are those pieces that I had to remake. Remember, I showed you the other ones would have been 5 inches lower, which would not have been enough protection for my motor. Plus, the motor I have in there right now is the Ecotech. I'm trying to design this chassis with a little bit more room so that if I want to upgrade to a V6 or a V8 at some point in time, I'm hoping maybe this chassis would have enough room for that. I'm not 100% sure, but I gave myself a little bit more clearance on the sides, a little bit more clearance on the back, and a little bit more protection up high. So anyways, I got those on there, got those tack welded in place. Hopefully tomorrow I'll work on the roll bar that comes back here and connects up like behind the driver. But I've got a bunch of pieces I need to cut out before I can do that. So anyways, this is the chassis so far. I know you can't tell what it is, and it looks like a monstrosity because it's not only is it the chassis, but it's this funky chassis build platform under it as well. But this was my plan from before, and I'm actually kind of surprised that it's working. When I want to pull the bug in, I hook the front of the chassis up to my winch there, and I winch it up just enough so that I can, you know, pull the nose of the bug in just far enough that it clears the garage door, which it barely clears, but it clears, so that's all that matters. So the plus to this is I'm able to get it all done in my garage. I call this my one stall garage. It's actually a 3-stall garage, but the agreement that I have with my wife is the 2 bays here are for our regular cars. The 3rd stall here is for me to play around in. So that's why I'm always saying in a 1-car garage. That's a little bit of a lie, because I can occasionally do some things over here, but for the most part I need to keep everything in the 1 stall. So as you can see, it's working, and I'm really surprised. I'm surprised because it's so close. Like, it's got about 1 inch of clearance in the back, and everything just barely fits. It maybe as I actually build it up more, I will reach a point where it won't work anymore, but so far it's working, which is awesome because I can keep everything tucked in the garage, which really is the only way that it can work, because I could never keep this on the driveway because, first of all, my HOA, my homeowners association, I think would not approve of that. Second of all, it would rust, so that's no good. And then I can't keep the bug on the driveway because, you know, she's my baby, and you know, she can't be out there rotting in the rain and in the sun, and who knows if somebody would. It's just that's not an option. This little gal, she has to stay in the garage. But it's cool. So far it's working. Sorry, no serious content on this video. It's just a video where I'm trying to keep you guys up to date as to what I've been working on. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope it's it's helping you or motivating you to work on something of your own, whatever, you get it. I say that at the end of every video. So thanks for watching, and I hope I see you guys on the next video. Take care.